It's struggling for confidence, struggling for form, 4 points apart in the Premier League. And if I would have told you at the beginning of the season, Spurs would be 16th or wherever we are, and Newcastle would be 13th or wherever they are, and there's only 4 points to separate them, you'd be like, what are you talking about? But here we are, game week 26, and that's the situation.
Yeah, we are in dire straits at the moment. Thomas Frank talking in his press conference that Tottenham are desperate for wins, and he emphasised that word desperate. He is desperate for the fans to be on side. And at the moment, the team are not giving Spurs too much to cheer about. I know you could argue that performances have definitely been better recently, albeit it has been in little spurts, it has been in 20, 30-minute periods here and there, which is much better than it was, November time. But with the results keep going as they are, it's gonna be hard for those players to keep believing that things are turning around when results aren't really giving them the evidence of that. Obviously, what happened on Saturday happened, and the game was over after half an hour after the red card. So there's obviously there's going to be some feeling that that wasn't the true reflection of how the game could have gone. But we also know that this team, we have a tendency of starting off badly in games and being behind at half time. We haven't come back to win any game yet this season, and we are playing a Newcastle side despite being in bad form. Are a physical side, they have a lot of know-how, and they're going to be just as desperate as us to get a result in this game, and it's going to be a difficult one. Newcastle are just one of those teams that we don't have a great record against recently, and it's going to be very, very tough to get all 3 points in this. But given where we are in the league, we just need 3 points. We need to relieve some of that pressure because it's building and building every week. The anxiety is building as we get closer to that relegation zone. So we need the fans tomorrow massively to be supporting the team and create a good atmosphere, and just hope that tomorrow's not one of those days where it's another defeat and it's more toxicity.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Newcastle's away form that has been dreadful this season. Spurs' home form this season is dreadful. Spurs have picked up the same amount of points at home as Newcastle have away from home this season. How crazy is that? And we know how poor that we've been. That just shows you how poor they've been on the road this season. They just can't seem to get results. And I'm looking, when was the last time they even won? The last time they won the league was 7th of January, a 4-3 win against Leeds. And obviously the last time that we won in the league was in December against Crystal Palace. Something's got to give in this game, doesn't it?
I think they're 1 win in 8 in all competitions, Newcastle. So definitely their form has been dropping as well. Albeit, if you look at, I guess you could say the same with us, but you look at their fixtures, Man City, Aston Villa, PSG, Liverpool, Man City again, and then obviously Brentford. But they have had a tough run, but so have we. We've had some tough games, and well, again, but to caveat that, we're 2 wins in 16, which is a far worse run than 1 win in 8.
They drew to Wolves in that time as well, but we obviously drew to Wolves this season too.
So, yeah, I think it's both teams definitely out of form, 100%. I don't know who's playing better right now. Maybe you could argue us in terms of just the level of performances compared to.
I think we're playing better than them, yeah.
Yeah, you can maybe make that argument. They've also, had some decent performances. You look at some of their games where they lost, like Liverpool. They were good for some of that game before ended up losing. For Man City, good for some of that game as well. Got a draw at PSG. So, even that Villa game, they were quite good in that game. Unlucky to lose. So, I don't think they're playing awfully. But then again, I don't think we're playing awfully currently, but it's just a bigger picture in terms of the results we're getting, and we have been awful for a lot of games this season. Paints a sorry picture, a sorry state of affairs for Tottenham. So where do we really hurt them? I think, as you say, no Joe Linton, which is a big plus for me because he always seems to have a crazy game against us in terms of just kicking everyone, fouls, like muscle and stuff like that. So him being out is a plus. He seems to always get bookings, or should be red card, shouldn't he, against us? So there's an opportunity there in that midfield to try and do something physically. They are still going to have Bruno and Tonali though, so 2 of the best midfielders I feel in the league when they're at their best. It's all about that third one who might be a bit missing, but I definitely feel that midfield is usually a strength for them, but it could be something maybe we can get an advantage of.
Yeah, I think that third one will be Joe Willock. who's been
Ramsey?
playing a bit recently. Obviously, Ramsey, he came on last game in the last couple of minutes. It could be one of them, but
I predict Ramsey, but
I think it might be Willock. He's been playing Willock a lot over the last couple of games, and maybe that's why he'll play Ramsey.
yeah, I think Ramsey's a better player.
But in terms of the other players that they've got out, so I'm seeing here that they've got Fabian Schär out, which is a big miss for them. Tino Livramento, Joe Linton, Anthony Gordon, and Lewis Miley is going to have a late fitness test for both of them.
Yeah, obviously Gordon, their main attacker, albeit he hasn't been great this season, but he's still a threat.
I don't even call him their main attacker. I think Harvey Barnes is their main attacker now.
I think Gordon is still a better player. And I think Gordon, whatever you want to say about him, he's always a threat.
Yeah.
He's always got something about him. Obviously, Barnes has been doing really well this season, so fair play to him. Scoring goals, good finisher, getting great finishes. But I'm always more scared of Gordon, despite that.
Yeah.
So he's out, which could be a plus, I would say. I don't know what 9 they go with, Voltmader or Visser. When Visser last game, Voltmader, they kind of changes the way they play, doesn't he, Voltmader, the way he plays. So I don't know which one where they're going to go on that front. But yeah, they obviously Barnes is in great form. Elanga, I don't know if he'll start. Why they started Murphy last game, but Elanga's just got his first goal of the season and he's doing all right. I think the big place I would target is definitely Trippier. Try and isolate him and overload him, and I think there are definitely things to get in on that front. I think if we can really exploit that space, there's definitely he can struggle. I think he's a bit finished, Trippier, unfortunately. As much as I love him, he's just a bit old now, and even a couple of years ago he was getting on a bit, and I think now I saw last game should have given away a penalty. Was very lucky, and I think that's definitely somewhere we should target.
I think where's a real key battle is Odegaard against Lewis Hall. I think Lewis Hall I'm really impressed by Lewis Hall. I think he's a really good player, man. He can do bits going forward. Defensively, I think he's really good as well. And Odegaard, we've seen, has been getting better and better in recent weeks. And if he can get the beating of Lewis Hall, that would be massive for us, wouldn't it?
Yeah, for sure. And Odegaard's, unfortunately, he's the one who got sacrificed last on the weekend. But
he might be a bit fresher then.
Yeah, I think Lewis Hall's been really good, and he's been another really good find for them of signing him from Chelsea, 30 million. And I think for me, he's probably better going forward than he is defensively. So there might be an opportunity there for Odegaard to be confident and just take him on. But he's a good fullback. He's not like a liability.
He's pretty good defensively.
Yeah,
as well.
He's not a liability. So he's good. I also think Botman and Tiort, they've done really well at times, I guess. It's hard to say they've done really well when they're sitting where they are on the table, but those are two good centre-backs. I would say Botman hasn't quite got back to his best yet, but he's come back from a serious injury. I know he scored last game.
He's always injured.
But he's not obviously when you come back from an ACL, that's what happens, isn't it? You get more injuries, other injuries. So maybe Solanke should look at him and think, if I can just put him under pressure, maybe there's some joy to be had there. If you're Dragusin and let's say if it's Dragusin and Van der Ven, who are you more worried about, Voltmader or Wisser?
It's a good question, because I think Voltmader brings obviously that more of a physical threat, and I think Dragusin and Van der Ven might prefer the obviously Van der Ven has got that pace that he can recover with Visser, so I think Dragusin would prefer to play Voltmader, and Van der Ven would probably prefer to play Visser.
Yeah, I think considering, Newcastle love to cross the ball in the box. I think they're one of the only two teams who have crossed the ball more than us. So given that, I think we would probably rather be dealing with Visser than Voltmader with his height and his ability. If they're under pressure from us, let's say we're pressing them with Gallagher and these players, Solanke, they can just go long to Visser and to Voltmader and relieve the pressure. Whereas Visser, we've got more opportunity to just make sure they're not winning any second ball or they're not bringing any other players into play, because he's got less ability to do that. But obviously he's got that threat in behind. But I think with Van der Ven, you should have that covered either way. So I would be, if I'm Eddie Howe, I'm probably starting Voltmader.
I think Voltmader has been starting the kind of big away games for them.
Yeah, so I think I would be starting him, and he's also one where he's obviously good, but he's obviously not a threat behind. So there's an opportunity there. If you can just stop him bringing the ball down, then they can get pinned back a bit. Because if they go long into him and we're making sure Dragoshin in on him, Van der Ven in on him, then all of a sudden we can kind of pin them in and make sure they're not getting out. And that's whereas with Visser, you've always got to drop back a bit because of that pace he's got in behind, so it creates a bit more space. So there's a couple, obviously, ways to do it. But they're a very intense team. I always feel like with someone like Newcastle, though, if you either match or better their intensity, I think you can get a lot of joy out of them. And so it's about whether we can do that or not. And it's going to be difficult, but it, I guess depends, because it's not like we're doing great with intensity at the moment. It's like we can do 45 minutes of it or half an hour of it, but we seem to struggle to do 90 minutes of it.
Yeah. Obviously, we've got like a very up and down record against Newcastle in Tottenham. Last year, we lost 2-1.
That was a game where we had injuries and we had illness. Do you remember? We had like a cold or some illness going through the campus. That struck a whole load of other players. And like, Forster was ruled out, so Austin had to come in.
Yeah, that was
crazy.
right. Yeah. We
actually played well.
We had Werner and Johnson on the wings that day. So we lost 2-1 last year. The year before we won 4-1. That was the day where Sonny just took Trippier to the cleaners. And that was 2 years ago now. So, I mean, we got to kind of use that to our advantage. Obviously, no Sonny this time, but we've got the likes of Tell and Odebear and Javi, which could do well. The year before, we lost 2-1 with Harry Kane scoring that day for Spurs. And then the year before that, we won 5-1. So, I mean, there's a few batterings against Newcastle, but we have lost a few games as well.
Yeah. 1-5-1. Oh, that was under Conte. That's right, under Conte. Yeah, we've got a mixed record. So it's one win, one loss, one win, one loss. So it's time for a win, I guess.
It is exactly. It is time for a win.
Time for a win.
And it'll be such an important win as well. If we do win this game, and let's say West Ham lose, does that make you not fear the kind of relegation battle anymore?
Yeah, I think it completely relieves the pressure, doesn't it? Because all of a sudden 9-point gap, and that's going to be
or even
very
if it's
hard.
West Ham draw.
That's going to be very hard for them to claw back. I think West Ham draw and we win. What is that? 8 points. Yeah. So if we win, I think that relieves the pressure totally on terms of that conversation, 100%. Because I've always said, as long as whatever you're fighting for, as long as you're within 6 points, then you're in that race. But as soon as it goes above that, then all of a sudden it's slightly hard to believe that's your goal and it can become unattainable. So right now it's 6. If we were 6 points off top 4, I would still be looking at top 4, but we're not. We're whatever, how many points off, right? 12.
Yeah.
I always think 6 points is like when it's only a couple of games, you're still in that. Like Man City, you know, that we would have said they're out the title race with the loss at Anfield because it would have been 9 points.
Yeah.
But now at 6, they're still in it. Same with this. If it goes to 9, then we're not in that relegation battle as long as it's 9 points. But when you're in 6, you're absolutely in that battle.
Yeah.
But so if we win that game, 100% it relieves the pressure. I wouldn't say it's done because one next game we lose and they win is back to 6. So you still got to be careful. But 100%, as long as it is 9, you're not in that relegation conversation.
Yeah, absolutely. Do you think Newcastle can be drawn into it?
Nah, I don't think so.
4 points above us.
Yeah, but that means they've got a 10-point gap.
Yeah.
So,
but I mean, if they carry on in this form that they're in, and West Ham carry on in the form that they're in, and picking up points here and there,
I think they'll get enough wins. They'll get some wins. Their form is 1 win in 8, but I mean, over long stretches like us, it's not as bad.
Yeah, very true. All right, well,
I think in the league it's 1 win in 5, but I think in all competitions it's really bad. But in the league, it's 1 win in 5, which is bad, but it's not like nothing compared to us. We're 2 in 16, which is
but still only a 4-point difference. It's not.
It's true.
Big.
It's 4 points, but when it comes to relegation, that's a big gap.
How the hell have we won 2 games in 16 and there's only a 4-point gap between Tottenham and Newcastle? How does that even work?
I don't know. Maybe
that just shows you how bad Newcastle have been.
Yeah, they have been. I think maybe I don't know how the starts of the season have been, but yeah, 100%. But they've been very inconsistent as well. They've really struggled.
Yeah. Let's just hope Dr. Tottenham don't show up tomorrow, because we know every single time, man. Every single time, like clockwork. The team needs a win. Come play Tottenham.
Has this season, like, you've always been a big fan of Eddie Howe.
Mm-hmm.
Like, has the way things have gone right now in Newcastle, does that make you... Let's say Poch is off the table for whatever reason. And Eddie Howe gets sacked. does this season give you doubts about him as a manager in terms of would you want him at Tottenham?
No, I would want him at Tottenham. I think he's a very good manager. I don't think this season kind of sways my opinion on that. I just think he needs a better squad, and he needs, he's dealing with a lot at Newcastle in terms of the PSR situation and stuff. He hasn't been able to make the signings that he's wanted to sign. The very few signings that he has made, I think, have been decent, but obviously he's lost Alexander Isak. He had to sell Elliot Anderson and stuff like that. It's not the easiest job when you're a team like a Newcastle and like a Villa, when you always have to think about those PSR kind of situations, because the club just doesn't generate as much money as like the top 5 or top 4 teams in the Premier League. So they've got all the money in the world, Newcastle, but they aren't able to flex their muscles enough because of that situation. So I do feel for him a little bit in that sense. And I think he's done a very good job at Newcastle. A very good job.
Did you take him over Poch?
Nah, no chance.
You wouldn't take him over Poch?
Nah, no chance.
You think Poch is a better manager?
Yeah, for sure.
I think so as well. I like Eddie Howe. He hasn't, but the reality is, this is just the objective fact. He just hasn't been able to ever juggle Europe in a Premier League season. He just hasn't.
Yeah.
Every time they've gone Europe, they've fallen massive. They've massively declined. So as much as he is a good manager,
but I think it's also to do with the squad that they have.
Yeah,
because like outside of their first 11, all through those seasons, they haven't really had much.
I know, but they have spent a lot of money on a lot of these other players. Especially this season. I know they've lost Isaac, but they spent a lot of money on Ramsey was 40 million. They signed 2 strikers in Voltmader and Visser. They signed Barnes for 45 million. They signed Alanga for 50 million.
Yeah, but all these players that you're talking about, this is the first year that they've had European football with them, and that's on the season on the back of selling Isak.
Yeah. And
Elliot Anderson, where they sold 2 years ago. So I think there's give and take with all those arguments.
I know it's their first season, but still, they're Premier League experienced players, aren't they? All of them. So, they should be able to, come in and be an option. I'm just saying, right now, the jury's out of whether he can sustain a league season to a good enough season when he's got European football. I think he's struggled with that. Whether that's
if you give him a big enough
manager,
squad, I think he could do it. I just don't think the squad's been big enough.
And similar to us, like every time they're in Europe, they have an injury crisis as well, it seems.
Yeah.
And that's maybe, is there something, I don't know what's happened there.
I
really like him.
I think he's nailed on for the England job anyway. I think he's going to be the next England manager.
I think that'd be a good appointment. But if he is available in the summer, if something happens with him, he'll be on the shortlist, wouldn't he, for Spurs?
Definitely. But I think there's only one man that they're going to consider for the job, so I don't even think there's going to be a shortlist. They might put out there's a shortlist, but there's no shortlist.
I mean, if let's say Eddie Howe gets sacked at the end of the season and Poch is still in the World Cup and Eddie Howe's sitting ready to start work, could that sway them? Who knows?
I don't think so. Like I said, I think it's nailed on that Eddie Howe's going to be the next England manager. I think Tuchel will probably leave after the World Cup. That's when his contract's up until. And I think Eddie Howe's going to go to England and Pochettino is going to come to Spurs.
But apparently he was interviewed for the England before Tuchel.
Yeah.
He didn't get it.
Yeah. I know. But Tuchel was seen as someone that can come in straight away and get that monkey off our back and get that trophy and deliver the World Cup. And he was brought in on a very short-term contract.
Yeah, I always felt sometimes football timing is everything. If maybe Tuchel wins something and wants to stay on, who knows? And they'll keep him on. There's a lot of different things can happen. I agree with you though. Right now, for sure, Poch is the guy for us. I think he's the one that we're waiting for. But I think it would be interesting if Newcastle were to sack him and he is just sitting ready and waiting. Because he ain't going to wait for us, is he? To see what we decide. He's going to say, do you want me now? I'm moving on to a different club or whatever. So it would be interesting to see, would we jump at the chance to get him, or are we going to wait for the Poch situation to open up?
Yeah. I reckon conversations already been had with Pochettino. I don't think it's a case of we're going to wait for Pochettino for the World Cup to be over and then make our move. I think we'll make our move prior to that.
Maybe he can do a Lopetegui, sign a pre-agreement and then get sacked by the USA the night before the World Cup.
That would be nice.
I wouldn't mind that.
That would be nice. But look, I hope a lot of you out there are going to the game, because I'm seeing a hell of a lot of tickets flying around. The ticket exchange hasn't even opened this game because the game hasn't sold out. How crazy is that? Haven't heard that happen this season.
Hasn't sold out.
So the ticket exchange hasn't even opened. So even season ticket holders that don't want to go can't sell them on the exchange.
Yeah, everyone's giving them away at the moment. Look, there's just not a lot of positivity around Spurs. People are sick of going to the stadium and not seeing good performances and good results. Where it's just everything is just so negative, and it's hard at the moment being a Tottenham fan. Like there's just after last season, there was so much negativity, but at least it ended well.
Yeah.
There's no real hope this one's going to end well, is there? Albeit we are still in the Champions League, but there's just this feeling like we are doomed for an absolute mess. There's always a feeling like the season's over already. In a weird way, the relegation scrap could give us something to
play for.
Well, I was asking this question. You remember when Everton stayed up on the final day and there was a pitch invasion? Is there a pitch invasion if we stay up on the final day this season, if it gets that bad?
If there's a pitch invasion, you may as well just end the club now, seriously.
But everyone was saying it was embarrassing when Everton did it, but it was still limbs.
I know, it was.
We want some limbs, don't we? Don't we want some limbs? That's what football's about. Safety limbs are apparently the best limbs, I've heard.
Yeah, not for Tottenham Hotspur, man. It's just, if that happened, that would be absolutely embarrassing.
Put in the comments, would you be up for a pitch invasion if we stay up on final day?
But I'll tell you what, for the fans going, please take your voice. The team are going to need all the fans to go with them tomorrow night. It's a big game. We need points on the board. As Thomas Frank, it's desperate, and it really is desperate right now. So I think all the fans going need to just go and sing their hearts out and be the 12th man. I saw on Friday night, I was watching the game, Leeds against Nottingham Forest, and those fans created such an atmosphere, and that's what gave Leeds the energy to go and smash Nottingham Forest that day. And I think it could be the same tomorrow. If we make those players stand 12 feet tall, with our voices tomorrow night, I think we can go and win the game tomorrow. I really do.
Yeah, we can definitely win 100%. Newcastle, as you say, they're nothing special at the moment. They are struggling. If we catch them on a bad day, which hopefully we will, and we play 90 minutes like we did, the 45 against City and stuff like that, we can definitely win. But we just have to show we're capable of that. And at the moment, recently we haven't shown we're capable of doing it for over the whole game. So that's the catch at the moment. We've got to show another level to our play, which we haven't yet in terms of getting that win. So we're definitely capable of it. I think if I look at that team, don't get me wrong, it's still a bit of a mishmash, but that's a good enough team to win the game, I feel.
Yeah.
It's just whether we will actually do it, because we have to show signs of actually us doing it before I can say we're going to do it.
Yeah.
But we are capable of doing it. And maybe tomorrow can be a turning point, or if we win tomorrow, all of a sudden you're saying, better performance against Burnley, better performance against City, red card ruined the game against United, and maybe a win here. So maybe there are signs of things turning around and we won't be dragged into that relegation battle. But at the end of the day, we need a result. It doesn't matter about performance at the moment. We just need the results. That's the bare face. 1-0, corner, whatever it is, just get the win.
Yeah, and look, even if we do go 1-0 down, leave the Thomas Frank chance at home. Seriously, it's no time for that now. We need to get behind everyone, and that's including the manager. If you want to go at someone, go at the board. That's who to go at right now for leaving us in this situation after January. And that's an honest opinion. Whatever you're feeling about Frank, I don't think Frank's the right manager for us. I think we should bring in Pochettino in the summer like that. But the reality is he is probably our manager from now to the end of the season. So I think it's important to back him from now to the end of the season.
Look, as long as we're seeing performances like the first half against City and not like the second half, the fans will get behind it.
Yeah.
I'm guaranteed you. But if we're going to see tepid, passive performances, then fans will never stand for it.
Yeah.
That's the truth.
Yeah. With the situation we're in with the injuries, though, I get, I said it as well, before the injuries, we were terrible as well. Since the injuries has come in, there's hardly a chance for it to get better. So let's just get behind everyone. I think that's the only thing that's going to see us through.
Skunkwork Bear says, forget that, Ben. They were singing Poch's name 5 minutes into the United game. Fans
if you want to sing a Pochettino chant. No, I'm joking.
Well, actually, Frank was asked about that. Pochettino chants happened in the game, and he was asked about it in this press conference. What do you think about that? Especially with Poch doing these interviews. He said, look, Poch did a great job here, and if fans want to sing his name, he deserves it. So he was very diplomatic with his answer. But yeah, I think when it comes to the Poch, obviously it's not a great look on Frank, but If we love
To be fair, fans are still singing Nicola Berti songs in Wales.
Exactly.
So,
It's not like we want him back.
so yeah, there you have it, people.
Some super chats.
Yeah, let's go for super chats.